How do you think of Jesus? Are you sure the Jesus you see is the true Jesus? In the Bible, God the Father announces that His Son, crucified, risen, and ascended on high, is to reign supreme in everything forever, which means what Jesus will be Lord of ultimately, He is Lord of right now. All the majesty He one day will openly display belong to Him right now. Is this how you see Jesus? Or is it possible you've only seen a partial picture of the true Jesus? There may be a whole lot more of Jesus waiting for Christians to explore and experience than we ever imagined. Would you like to see your partial picture of Jesus filled in with the fullness of His spectacular supremacy? If so, you're not alone. Did you know that many other believers, since they too are short-sighted about who Jesus is today, far too many of us know far too little about the person, purposes, and promises of God's exalted Son. We are not Christ-driven. Instead, we place Jesus at our service. We put Jesus at the center of where we're headed and what we're doing, and we expect Him to meet our needs. Christian leaders everywhere are calling this a crisis of monumental proportions. A crisis that often renders God's people spiritually lethargic, aimless, hopeless, helpless, useless. Has this crisis about the greatness of Christ diminished the way you see Him and love Him and live for Him? Well, there is hope. The Father is ready to rescue His children from this crisis, to bring us back to His Son for all He is. In fact, many leaders today sense He is preparing this whole generation of Christians for an unprecedented Christ awakening. A Christ awakening is when God's Spirit uses God's Word to reintroduce God's people to God's Son for all He is right now in the splendor of His majesty. A Christ awakening is so wonderfully refreshing that often believers feel as if they're meeting King Jesus all over again. Could the Father be preparing to bring you into the joys of a Christ awakening? Is it time for you to redraw your picture of Jesus by exploring Him and experiencing Him in whole new dimensions of His spectacular supremacy? Do you want to know Christ for all He is right now? Do you want to help end this crisis about Christ? We invite you to discover all the ways ChristNow.com can empower you to live a truly Christ-driven life. But first, we invite you to begin your Christ awakening journey by clicking here.